People shouldn't have to work unless they want to work. Let's talk about it.
I'm here every day, busting my tail, making somebody else rich while I'm getting crumbs. Bro, this shit for the birds. Life ain't supposed to be like this. This ain't it. I work every day. No time for myself, really. Little time I do got. Hell, I can barely keep my shoes off and get comfortable. Then I'm back in the bed because I gotta get up in the morning and go do the same thing all over again. This ain't life. Shit. We really slaves. We just getting paid for it. You know what I'm saying? This ain't it. With all the technology out now, I gotta start working for myself. I gotta figure this out, man. You know, 2025, people shouldn't be working unless they just want to work. You know what I'm saying? I remember growing up, like, man, I need to give me a job, man. I need at least $10 an hour. I'd be set. Now, 2025, I'm making over $20 an hour, and I still feel like I'm struggling. At times. You know what I'm saying? And it shouldn't be that way. It should not be that way. We're accepting BS, man. But hey, people think this is the way life should be. And this ain't the way life should be, man. This ain't no freedom. That being said, man, life is what you make it. So you better make something of it.
All right, so shout out to that brother who made that video. He made some very valid points. I believe there are going to be a lot of people who resonate with that message. A lot of people can definitely understand where he's coming from. And I think there's going to be a lot of people who empathize with what he's saying in the video. But I just want to kind of add my 2 cents. You know, one thing I learned from my mentor, he said, each person's income is primarily determined by their philosophy and not the economy. He said once he understood that, he realized that he didn't have to go to work on the economy. He had to go to work on himself by becoming an attractive person. Now, when I say attractive person, I'm not necessarily talking about from a physical standpoint, although looks does matter. I think appearance is important. I think you should want to show up as the best version of yourself. You should want to be presentable. A lot of you probably heard the phrase, you never get a second chance to make a first impression. So looks are important. Don't get it twisted. But in addition to looks, when I talk about attractiveness, do you have attractive skills? Is there something that you know or that you've learned that can add value to others? Do you have an attractive attitude? Do people like you? Do people like being around you? Or is it the opposite? Do you have a bad attitude? From my experience, people like doing business with people who they feel like they can connect with. People don't like doing business with people they don't like. I don't know about you guys, but I've worked with people who had bad attitudes, very negative, always complaining about the job, but for some reason they never leave. I worked with a guy like that in the past. Terrible attitude. It got to the point to where customers started complaining about his attitude. And you guys know, once the customers start complaining, especially in my line of work, once you are negatively impacting that customer relationship with the employer, there's only a little bit of time you got before the company addresses that. To make a long story short, that person did get terminated because of his attitude, because of his behavior, and some of the confrontations that he had. So when I talk about being attractive, it seems like positive things start happening for you. It seems like doors start opening for you. It seems like the law of attraction, right? Good things just start flowing your way. When you're able to add value to others, you increase your chances for more opportunities to come your way. you increase your chances to make more money. There's a reason why when people graduate high school and they decide to pursue higher learning and go to college and get a degree or get multiple degrees, masters, PhDs, etc. Why do you think people decide to pursue higher learning after they graduate high school? It's because they want to become more valuable to the marketplace so that when they get out here and start their careers, they want to have the credentials, they want to have the accolades to help them land better paying jobs. If you want above average income, you have to be an above average person. I always say, when you learn more, you earn more. I talked about this in the past, but your education is directly correlated to your compensation. If you only have a GED or a high school diploma with no specialized training, with no skilled trades, there's only so much money you're going to be able to make in terms of working a job, because when it comes to your skill set, it's very limited. When it comes to the value you can add to an employer, it's very limited. College is not for everybody. College wasn't for me. But you know what I did? I got a skilled trade. I obtained a CDL, Class A. Why? Because I wanted to increase my chances to make more money. In order for me to do that, I understood that I had to get some specialized training. But boy, once I got that training, once I got that Class A CDL, now I'm at the point to where I'm a six-figure earner. With the things that I've managed to monetize, including this YouTube channel, in addition to my primary job, it just helped me increase my overall income that I bring in every year. He talked about when you're working a job, all you're doing is making a company rich. I hear that a lot from people when it comes to jobs and working. I'll be fully transparent with you guys. I've never once worked a job and thought about how much money I was making for the company. I always thought about how can I make more money for myself, whether that's with the company or outside of the company. But I never worried about how much money I was making for the company, because the company is going to make what the company is going to make, with you there or not. The company, whoever started that company, created a business, kudos to them, right? They deserve however much money that they're generating. As a business owner, you have that same opportunity in this country that we live in. We live in a capitalist society. You have the same opportunities to create the lifestyle that you want to live. But you have to first change your mindset, stop worrying about the company or what somebody else got going on, and channel that energy on yourself and make yourself more valuable. Learn some new skills. A lot of us watch TV on average probably 8 to 10 hours a day. What if you took that same amount of time and instead of watching TV, you start learning how to start a business? You start learning a new skill set that you can monetize. You start learning about a particular business that you may be interested in. We all got the same 24 hours in a day. How are you managing your time? What are you focusing your time and your energy on? How much self-development information, content are you consuming on a daily basis? How much are you learning? You don't stop learning once you get out of school. I understand we live in a society where a lot of people don't like to work these days. A lot of people have a major issue with going to work, clocking in, clocking out, doing it all over again. Very redundant, monotonous type of work. I get it. But the reality is that's the system that we have. So if you want to get out of the system, get out of the rat race, and stop doing the same repetitive thing over and over, you have to change that. You're the only one that can change your circumstances. Not the president, not your family member, not your friend, you. Once you understand that you have the power to change your economic situation, your mindset starts to shift. You stop pointing fingers at everybody else. You stop pointing fingers at the economy. You stop pointing fingers at the president. You stop pointing fingers at your employer. We throw the word slavery around too loosely. I take the word slavery as a serious thing because I know my ancestors and there were people that really went through slavery. And so I take that word serious. And I think in our culture in particular, we throw it around way too loosely. My ancestors wasn't getting paid what we get paid in order to do a job. Real slavery, people were forced to do whatever their quote-unquote masters told them to do without getting anything in return. They had to do it. When it comes to your job in the 21st century in 2025, you don't have to go to work if you don't want to. You have that choice. Slaves, real slaves, they didn't have the choice whether or not they were going to work. No, they had to work. I wish people would stop using that word slave so loosely. Modern day slavery, whatever. All I'm saying is if you want better, you have to become better. Like I mentioned earlier, if you want an above average salary, you have to become an above average person. I knew there was a certain salary that I would fall within if I didn't get me some specialized skills, if I didn't get some special training. I made a video, I don't know, I think it was last week. I talked about skilled trades because I understand that college ain't for everybody. Listen, if you don't want to go to college for whatever reason, you don't want to rack up a bunch of student loan debt, whatever it is, there are a lot of skilled trade jobs out there that pay really well. And from what I read, some of those skilled trade jobs are going to be less impacted by AI than some of the other jobs, like in the tech industry. From what I read, there are so many skilled trade positions out there, they just don't have enough people to fill those positions. In addition to that, you have a lot of boomers that have these jobs right now that are going to be retiring, which is going to create more vacancies in some of these skilled trade positions. So do your research, guys, on skilled trade jobs. For those of you who may not necessarily be interested in going to college. I personally don't have an issue with college. I think there are some jobs out there where college is needed, right? That type of education is needed. So by all means, do whatever you have to do to make yourself more valuable. There are a lot of people out there with degrees that are having a tough time right now in this economy trying to find work. I get it. But again, I'm not necessarily against college. At the end of the day, it's all about trying to become more valuable. And you don't necessarily have to go to college to increase your knowledge and increase your education in what you know. You just have to study and invest the time to learn more. If you have an issue with working a job, putting in those hours to collect a paycheck and doing it all over again, then figure out a way that you can get out of the rat race, as they call it. At the end of the day, you have to understand that your relationship with your employer is transactional. You're trading your time for money. Listen, that's all I got for you guys. I appreciate it. I'll catch y'all on the next one. Peace.